Welcome back, and in this video we're going to look at how to make a TCP client which connects to a TCP server for two-way communication. So I'm going to create a new class and I'm going to call it my TCP client, and this class will have a few variables. So the first one's going to be TCP client, and I'm going to call it my TCP client. The other one is the network stream, and I'm going to use string as my IP address, and integer port number, and boolean value is going to be client connected. So now I'm going to create the constructor, and this constructor is going to have two parameters: string IP address and integer port number, and I'm going to assign it to our variables underscore IP address and underscore port. So now I'm going to create another method and I'm going to call it connect. So this is where we're going to connect to our TCP server. I'm going to do try catch statement to handle any exceptions, and I'm going to print any errors to our Crestron console as before, so we know what's happening. Okay, and inside this try statement we're going to do if statement and check if the client is connected. If it's not, we're going to try to connect. So I'm just going to print that into a console, and now I'm going to instantiate the TCP client, and I'm going to connect this client to the server. So I'm going to use connect async, which means it will connect asynchronously to the server, so it doesn't stop the program from running. So I'm going to use the IP address and the port number, and I'm going to wait 2 seconds for this connection to be established. And now I'm going to assign client connected to my TCP client connected boolean value. And if the client is connected, I'm going to assign my stream to my TCP client get stream, and I'm going to print into our console so we know we are connected to the server. And if it's not, I'm going to close and dispose my TCP client. I'm going to add the connect method to the constructor, so when we instantiate this object, it connects straight away. Now I'm going to create another method called disconnect, and we're going to use this method in various places where we're going to disconnect from the server and close the connection. Okay, the next method is called send command. It takes one parameter, it's a string, and is the command that we want to send. Again, we're going to have a try catch statement to handle any exception, and I'm going to print into the console the error so we know what's happening. So now I'm going to create a byte array called send data, and I'm going to assign to send data the string, and I'm going to encode it to bytes, and then I'm going to send it to the TCP server, which I use the write method, and I'm going to add disconnect method into our catch statement, so if there's any error we'll disconnect from the server. Okay, and the next method is read response, which basically will read any messages coming from our TCP server. So again, we do try catch statement to handle any exceptions. I'm going to print it to the console, and inside our try statement I'm going to do while the client is connected, I'm going to create a byte array, again 1024 bytes long, and integer bytes received, and I'm going to read the stream coming from the server. And if the bytes received is 0, then we're going to disconnect from the server. And then if the bytes received is more than 0, then we're just going to get the string that we received from the stream. And I'm going to print it into the console again. And if there are any exceptions into reading the response, I'll just disconnect, just to kind of make sure we clear our resources if there's any problem. And now I'm going to go back to the constructor, and I'm going to create a task that's going to connect to the server, or try to connect to the server, every 5 seconds. I'm going to create another task that's going to read the response every half a second. And now I'm going to go back to the control system class. I'm going to create variable, my TCP client. I'm going to instantiate this variable. I'm going to use IP address of my computer and a port number that I will set in the Hercules software. In the TP handler, I'll just add send command for each of the smart graphics button presses. So we're going to send commands basically button 1 pressed to button 5 pressed. So I'm going to connect. I'm going to bring up the Hercules software. As you can see, I've set the port number to 53002, and I'm going to listen. And once the code is loaded, we should see in the client connection status, we should see a client connected. So I'm just going to wait once the code is up and running. Yeah, and as you can see, program started and we got a client connected. And now I can send a value, I can send a string, so I'm going to send it, and you can see we received it. So our console is printing the command we are sending from the Hercules software. Now if I bring the VTZ file, we got all connected. Let me just reorganize this so you can all see it. So if I press the button press, you can see the server is receiving our commands, which are based on our button presses on the smart graphics. So yeah, that works perfectly. And if I close the server, so all connection lost, you can see client is disconnected and our program is trying to connect to the server. So that's where the 5-second wait command comes in. So every 5 seconds we're trying to connect. And if I bring up the Hercules software back in and I'll start it, the program should reconnect within 5 seconds. And yeah, as you can see, connected to the server, and if I send the command, yeah, it's all working as before. And just to confirm, our button presses are also working. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thank you for watching.